and welcome to Toddler Tips Tuesday, Walt Disney World Edition. I am Tanya with Magical Memory Planners.
And hey y'all, Tam here with Lifestyling with Tam.
On this week's episode, we're going to be talking to you about traveling with your toddler to Disney World. Whether you are flying or driving to Orlando, we have some great tips for you to be able to make sure that your travel to get to Disney World is very stress-free. So one of the things that I'm going to be talking to you about is flying in the airport with your toddler, and Tamara is going to be talking to you about traveling and driving to Orlando with your toddler. So let's get started with the airport. Okay, so the airport. Navigating the airport can be a little bit stressful. Some people are stressful when they fly and it just stresses them out. And then you put a toddler in the mix, it could be, even more stressful. But it doesn't have to be that way. And we're very fortunate that we're going with a group of people, so we have a lot of hands to help us be able to navigate with our toddler. But I think one of the most important things is bring your stroller. You don't want to have to carry your toddler or keep up with them, hold their hand, make sure they don't get lost. Bring the stroller. You're able to go through security with your stroller. You will have to take your toddler out and fold up your stroller, and they have to scan it. But it's super easy. So bring your stroller. You can have your stroller up until you board the plane. So once you get to your gate, go up to the little desk. They will give you a little ticket to put on your stroller. When you board the plane, you just fold up your stroller, leave it right outside of before you get onto the plane, and it will magically appear when you land, waiting for you right there. So a stroller is a must when you're going through the airport and you have a little one. Also, my son is 2, so he will have a seat. We had to buy him a ticket, and he will have a seat. So we are flying American Airlines. Depending on which airline you choose depends on, if you get a carry-on or personal bag and all those things. So just make sure you check with your airline to see what is included in your ticket. So for us, we get a carry-on bag and a personal bag. So that is good news, just because we'll have more room and more things to bring back home from Disney World. He has this cute little Toy Story carry-on bag that I really like, that I would like for him to take. But thinking about just the space and just utilizing everything to the best of our ability, I think it's smarter for us to take a bigger carry-on, where we're going to be able to put more stuff in it and maybe have a little bit of room to where if we purchase something at Disney World, we're able to bring it back home with us. So instead of taking the cute little one that I really want him to take, I think we're just gonna stick with a regular carry-on. They're not that big. I actually like the hard shell ones just because I am an overpacker, and this kind of limits me to make sure that I'm not overpacking my suitcase, and then my carry-on is going to be too big. So this kind of limits me to how much to pack. He also gets a personal bag, so he'll just carry his little backpack, and in his little backpack he'll just have the things that he will need for the flight. So talking about things that he will need for the flight. Keeping him entertained. I think one of my biggest fears flying with him is having that kid that cries the whole flight and having people upset with me because of that. Even though I know parents try to do their best that they can, to just calm their children down and just entertain them. That's my biggest fear, that I'm just, gonna be looked at like that. So I always make sure that we have things to entertain him with. Last time he slept the whole flight, which was amazing. This time I'm not sure what he'll do, but just in case he doesn't sleep on the flight, we do have some things that he will carry in his little backpack of things that are new, that he's maybe never seen before, or some of his favorite things. So one of the things would be, I like these little fun on the go kits that have, he's actually has used this one, but it has stickers and it has markers and just all kind of pages that he's able to color and draw and do all of those fun things. And it's very small, and he really enjoys this. So you can find this at Walmart, Target, Party City actually sells different ones of these. And they're not heavy at all, and you're able just to stick it in a backpack. So we'll definitely have a couple of these to take with us on our plane ride. He also likes superheroes and just little action figures that are not that big, and you're able just to carry, and they're not that heavy. We bought him several of these that he does not have, so they will be new, and I know he's going to be excited about having some new toys and just keep him entertained. Our flight is not very long, so I shouldn't have to have a lot of things to keep him entertained, but just a few little things for on our way back home, and then on our way, of course, to Disney World, and on our way back home. And also taking his little kids tablet. He loves this, especially when it's time to just like sit down and chill out and watch a little episode or two of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I think once he watches an episode or two, we will almost be in Orlando. So this is definitely a backup in case the other entertaining things do not, help him. So just making sure we have this charged. Download his favorite episodes on here. That way we don't have to use any kind of Wi-Fi, and we will be good to go with him. And then he can carry all of this in his little backpack, which I'm going to be honest, he's probably not going to carry because our flight is super early, and he's just going to want to be left alone, and we'll have to carry that, which is not very big or heavy, and that will be no problem. So one of the other things that I wanted to point out was snacks for your flight. Making sure that you have snacks for your toddler. You cannot bring anything liquid through the TSA, through security. Of course, unless, it's breast milk, anything, formula, anything like that for your baby, they will allow that, and sometimes they might have to check it. But just keep that in mind, that you're not allowed to bring, liquids like that through TSA, or very limited amounts. So I would suggest bringing snacks that are, like I showed you guys last week, that are prepackaged, that do not have liquid in them. And then if your toddler needs some water or something, you can get it after you've crossed security, and you could purchase, some water, some juice, or something like that at the airport. And of course, you can take that on your flight, but you can purchase that after you've crossed over to TSA. So that's just very important. Some toddlers also have, or some kids, even adults, have a hard time when it comes to takeoff and the elevation. It hurts your ears. So my son does have very sensitive ears when it comes to that. So I just make sure, I'm not giving you any medical advice, but this is just what we do. I just make sure that I give my son Tylenol about 30 minutes before we board on the airplane, just to make sure that he is comfortable, and he's not crying and just fussy, because we did experience that one other time. So just making sure that he, is comfortable, and giving him that Tylenol 30 minutes before boarding, so it can take effect. And we've not had really any problem with that. Again, please consult your medical provider. I am not a doctor. I'm just telling you what works for us. So as we're talking about personal bags and carry-ons, your personal bag can be anything from like a backpack or your purse or anything like that. So I like to carry the biggest personal bag I can find that will fit within the limits of what I'm allowed to take. So I have found this bag on Amazon, and I really like it. You can actually put your, the handle from your carry-on or your luggage through here, and you just set this on top of your luggage and just roll it down through the airport. I filled this bag up, and I can squish it and put it up under my seat on the airport, so I can take as much as I can. I'm all about taking as much as I can without having to pay a lot. We're going for a whole week, so we might have to check a bag, which is totally fine. Getting through the airport with your toddler, one other thing that I wanted to point out is bathroom time. Making sure your toddler is going to the potty before you board your plane. Because you don't really want to get up and use the potty on the airplane and all of that stuff. My son is 2. He wears big boy underwear, but we will be putting a pull-up on him just in case anything happens. I don't want it to, you know, if he has an accident, just for it to be very messy, and that will be less stressful for us. So putting a pull-up on him that morning, making sure we're going to the potty before we board our plane, and having things to entertain him, and having a stroller, I think should be the takeaways of the things that you need when you are flying on an airplane with a toddler. So I will be packing you guys up, and Tam will be unpacking all the tips that you need to travel with your toddler to Disney World in the car. All right, Tam, here they come. I'll see you guys real soon.
Thanks, Tanya. All right, y'all, I have some tips for you on traveling 8 to 10 hours to Walt Disney World with a toddler. Are you ready? Let's get you out of there. All right, y'all, so yes, Tanya, her family, and our friends are traveling by plane, and me and my family are traveling by car. And if you're wondering or must know, I have a fear of flying, so that's why we are not jumping on the airplane with them. It's a serious fear. I have not overcome it yet. I've not even tried to overcome it yet. Maybe one day I will face my fears and ride on an airplane, especially since my husband loves flying and my daughter is infatuated with airplanes right now. So, you know, I don't know, maybe one day. But in the meantime, we will be taking our trip to Walt Disney World by car. And from where we are, from our location, it is about an 8 to 10 hour drive, depending on traffic and stops and all that junk. So you definitely want to have a plan when riding that long with a toddler. She has never traveled for that long period of time. We do make frequent travels back to our hometown because we do live 3.5 hours away from our family and friends. So we do take those trips quite often, and she has become accustomed to long car rides, but not 8 to 10 hour long car rides. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how she does. She is a fairly good car rider. She doesn't mind sitting in her car seat. She doesn't mind riding. She used to typically fall asleep for the most part when we would go back home. She's kind of getting out of that, where her naps are shorter, which is understandable as she gets older. But there are things that keep her entertained, luckily, and so she doesn't really have a fit back there too often. I'm very fortunate in that. I know there are some toddlers who absolutely hate riding in the car, and my heart goes out to those parents. So I hope that the tips I'm about to share with you are helpful. I realize every toddler is different, as well as every family is different, every parenting style is different, so please know that my tips are not the one size fits all tips, okay? They may not work for you, but I'm going to share them anyway because I know or feel they will work for us on this 8 to 10 hour drive that we're getting ready to take to the happiest place on earth. So let's get to it, shall we? So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, since I opened you guys up in the suitcase back there, is luggage. So since we're not riding on a plane, I of course do not have any luggage requirements. I don't have to make sure my suitcase is a certain size. I don't have to make sure it's a certain weight or any of those things. So I'm fortunate in that route. But with that being said, I am an overpacker. I tend to pack way more than I need because I'm an anxious traveler. And so I'm giving y'all a lot of confessions about my flaws. I'm an anxious traveler, so when we travel, I try to make sure that I pack everything that I need or think I will need, and it usually tends to end up being a lot more that we're traveling with than we really needed in the first place. So it's not a good thing. So this trip, I am really trying to focus on the necessities that we need to take, and looking into other options for other things like food. I'm going to do the online grocery order when I get to the resort and just have my groceries delivered to my resort rather than trying to pack a bunch of food. Of course, I'll have snacks for on the road, but that's another thing. So yes, when you're packing, make sure to pack the necessities and prioritize everything so that you don't overpack and bring a bunch of things that you really don't need. Biggest tip, and I do this on any trip that we take, whether it's an hour, 3 hours, or 10, I make a checklist. And sometimes I make more than one checklist. I make a checklist, check it off, and then make another one and check it off, just to make sure that I have everything that we will need, and everything that's a necessity. Because sometimes the things I think we need, we don't really need. But anyway, so yes, make checklists and check them off, and have somebody go behind you. I will definitely have my husband help me while checking off everything that's in our bags and making sure that we have all of the things that we will need while we are at Walt Disney World. So that's luggage. The next thing, in addition to bringing luggage, is to make sure that you have some sort of bag with you that you can kind of keep up front, because obviously our luggage is going to be in the very, very back, so nobody's going to be able to access it. So I'm going to make sure to have my own personal bag, as well as my daughter a bag, and this is her bag that she carries around with us everywhere. It's like the substitute diaper bag. Now that she's a toddler, we don't carry a diaper bag anymore. We just let her carry her own bag and kind of, I guess, teach her responsibility, because her things are in here, the things that she wants as well as needs when we're out and about. So I'll definitely have this packed and ready to go for our trip. It will be chock full of things to keep her entertained, which I'll show you in just a minute. It will be chock full of snacks, wipes, tissues. Her sunglasses are in here. So really just making sure to have something accessible closer to the front of the car so that you can access it when somebody's hungry or in need of something to keep their attention while on this trip. Also something to wipe up messes, like the wipes, because as you know, toddlers are messy, and unfortunately there will probably be a mess on an 8 to 10 hour drive in the car, especially when eating snacks and drinking liquids and things like that. So I will say that my husband, we've kind of talked about it, I'm going to be the one actually driving. Here's another confession for you. I get car sick on really long car rides. So I'm going to be the one driving this 8 to 10 hour trip. Yay me. And so the hubby is going to be along for the ride. And so I've kind of talked to him about it's probably best if he just goes ahead and sits in the back with our toddler, just because I feel like that way he can be back there when she needs something, rather than me trying to reach and risk a wreck, or him taking his seatbelt off and putting himself in danger should something happen, God forbid. Just him being back there is a safer way to address her needs when she needs something, and me to be able to continue to focus on the road. So he's probably going to ride back there with her. Thankfully we have a decent size SUV to be able to allow him to sit back there comfortably and still have room for our luggage and things that we're taking. So let's talk about what's in her bag. So I wanted to make sure that the things in her bag are things that we would need in the car, or if we were to get out of the car and go in anywhere, like stop and eat or something. So definitely sunglasses, because she loves sunglasses, as well as the sun gets in her eyes, and so she doesn't like that. Tissues for snotty noses. They happen. Let's see, in the front here, this is the Imagine Ink marker to her Imagine Ink booklet, which I will put in here. I love these because they are no mess, and she just needs one marker to color her pretty pages. I get these at Target, and she has a bunch of different ones with different characters and things, so I like packing these because they're easy, convenient, and she doesn't have a bunch of crayons back there or anything that can mark all over my car or her car seat or her. So it's a nice mess-free option to keep her entertained. She'll also have her little towel bib. I mean, I know most 2-year-olds probably aren't still wearing bibs. I don't know. My child still does, because one, I don't want her to mess up her clothes, but two, it's just convenient to have this towel bib because I can wipe her face and prevent spills on her shirt or anything like that. Mask, because of course when you go in places you have to wear a mask. And let's see, pull-ups in case, you know, she needs to be changed on an 8 to 10 hour drive. I'm sure, despite her being potty trained, there may be an accident or two. Those wipes for messes and things. dirty hands. Also books. My child loves books, so I make sure to put books in her bag that obviously fit, nothing too big, but books that I know that have characters that she loves, or things that she may be going to see on our trip. So like this Things to Go book talks about all kinds of vehicles and means of travel. So just something to keep her entertained and happy. And I think that's pretty much it. There's a few snacks in here too. But that's her bag. Also, obviously having electronic type devices are always a go-to whenever traveling long periods of time. Having something for them to play fun educational games or watch movies is always good. We love this Leapfrog tablet that she actually received from her Nana at one point in time. It can be a tablet or a laptop, and it's just something fun that she enjoys playing with and taking with us on car rides. So we'll definitely be taking that in the car. Traveling with a friend is always a good idea, and makes your child feel safe and more comfortable when they have their favorite buddy in the car seat with them. So yeah, so that's basically things to keep her entertained or to be readily accessible to the parents to address the needs of the toddler. Also making sure to have snacks, because 8 to 10 hours, hello, you're definitely going to be hungry. So not only do I have a snack bag, and I of course got this idea from our last video that Tanya shared, those gallon size bags full of pre-packaged snacks. Great idea, Tanya, great tips. So I'm definitely going to pack some for the car ride to Walt Disney World, and I'm not only going to pack one for Delaney, but I'm also going to pack one for Mommy and Daddy, because hey, we like to snack too, and we really want to make as few stops as possible on this trip. Now granted, we're probably going to have to stop and get gas and eat at least once, maybe twice, and then use the bathroom of course. But all in all, if I'm like really hungry but not like starving, snacks are the way to go. So I've got a protein bar in here, cracker, peanut butter crackers, granola bar, something sweet. So I love the Smart Sweets candy, healthier candy, I guess. I don't know, candy's candy, right? And then for Delaney, just some pre-packaged goldfish, animal crackers, gummies, a juice. She'll probably have like a water bottle full of water. I know I will, Daddy will, things like that. So just to keep us full and happy while on our trip. So in addition to keeping your toddler entertained, my toddler, and she gets this honest from her mother, my toddler loves to sing her little heart out, especially, all the time, but especially in the car. So the number one thing I'm going to do is make sure to have her a special pre-made playlist on Amazon Music for her to listen to her heart's content. So all of her favorites from all of her favorite Disney movies, just to get us in the moment, get us in the spirit, get us ready for where we're headed. So definitely making a playlist for her to enjoy. And, you know, when she falls asleep, I'm definitely going to have a playlist for Mommy and Daddy to listen to too. So when we're talking about long car rides, of course you want to make sure that day to dress super comfy. You know, obviously dress for the weather. Make sure to wear light clothing. Bring maybe a blanket or pillow. Not too big, but just for comfort reasons. Just so that you can stay as comfy as possible. Especially with me driving, I probably will wear sandals, so if I want to take my shoes off, and sweats and a t-shirt, just so that I'm comfortable driving that long period of time. So another thing I wanted to mention is making sure that you do take frequent stops. I know a lot of times when me and my husband have traveled in the past before we became parents, we took as little stops as possible. But now that we have a toddler and she's going to be in that seat, sitting for that long in a car, kind of cramped, everybody needs a break. Everybody needs a minute to just stretch their legs, walk around, use the bathroom if need be. So the research that I have looked up recently showed that toddlers typically need a break every 2 hours. But yeah, so a 2-year-old basically needs a break every 2 hours. So just a minute or two to get out of the car, maybe walk into a convenience store or walk into a place to eat, use the potty if needed, just stretch your legs. And that could be great for parents too, because I'm going to be stuck in this driving position for a long time, so I'm going to need a break too, so it'll be nice. So just making sure that you take breaks with your toddler. Don't expect them to be able to ride 8 to 10 hours in a vehicle. They just don't understand what's happening at that moment, and they're not going to understand why they need to stay cramped in their seat and with their little butts going to sleep and things like that. So just making sure to keep in mind they're little, they're going to require a little grace when traveling, especially because it's not something they're used to. So anyway, yeah, so the music, snack bags, bags that are accessible up front, toys, electronic devices, you know, things to keep your toddler entertained as well as happy and satisfied. I think that pretty much covers it. As far as potty breaks go, like I said, I'm going to stop every couple of hours just to give everybody a break on their legs, stretch their legs, have a break from sitting in the car so long. And of course, you know, hopefully make strategic stops where we can go ahead and potty too. I'm thinking about considering doing something that I saw somewhere online. I can't remember exactly where now, but I saw where a parent who was taking a long trip in the car traveled with their toddler's potty, like the little bitty potty. So I'm going to show you guys kind of what I saw, and I'm really strongly considering doing this just because, let's face it, not all restrooms in convenience stores and rest stops are clean. And I mean, I can put something down and kind of limit what I touch. Toddlers, on the other hand, no. She's going to go in, she's going to touch everything regardless, and it's just going to be a huge mess. So I'm really seriously considering just letting her use the potty in the back of the car when we make stops, just for my peace of mind and sanity and for her cleanliness. So let me show you that and then we'll be done. Okay, so ignore my lovely garage background. It's a mess, so ignore that. But I'm gonna show you, so this is her potty that she used when she was potty training. It's by Summer, the brand Summer. I loved it because it was pink and it flushed. It sounded like the real thing. I also love that it has this little compartment so you can store wipes, which will be great for this if I do this, what I'm about to show you. And it also has this convenient little thing where you can stick stuff back there as well. So like extra wipes, books, whatever. What I love about it is when you lift up the little toilet seat, and I just washed this so it has a few water droplets on it. But you have the little bowl that your toddler tinkles in or does number 2. So what you do is you take a diaper or a pull-up. I still have some diapers because she's still wearing her pull-up diapers at night. She is pretty much potty trained, I would say, but at night, you know, I obviously don't break her sleep, so she doesn't break mine to go use the potty. Let's just be real. But anyway, you take the diaper and you put it inside of the bowl on the toilet and stretch it in there so that basically when your child sits down in the back of the car here, you've got this to catch the urine rather than having to pour it out and rinse out your bowl here like you normally would at home. So this is really cool. So now I'm just going to put it on here like this, put the seat on, and then I would let my little one do her business, and then you just take it off, put it in a plastic bag or garbage bag, and you're good to go. And then you dispose of all that when you get to where you're going, and just have, you know, plenty of diapers to put back over the bowl when you're finished or when your toddler's finished with her business. But I think that's such a great idea, and so I'm really considering using that idea just because I am finicky about where we use the bathroom, especially for my toddler. And I can't always control the things that she touches and all that. So just for my peace of mind and sanity, I'm really considering going this route, and if I do, I would definitely let you guys know if it works, if it's worth it, because I've never actually used this, because I've never really went on a trip this long where she needed a potty in the car. So we definitely don't want to go backwards though on our potty training. So that's why I'm considering doing this as well. All right, y'all, so that's all of my tips for traveling to Walt Disney World with your toddler. We'll see how my toddler does on this trip. I'll keep you posted. Some of these tips are going to be new, so I'll definitely keep you updated on everything and how they work out. But yeah, so those are the tips, and we hope that you've enjoyed this video and all of our videos so far. We have one more Tips Tuesday for you, and then we will be in the happiest place on earth, and we are definitely going to be sure to let you know how our tips worked out for us and if we really think they will, work out for you. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.